We're back. All right. Welcome back. Sorry for the technical difficulties, ladies and gents. We are back and almost starting the pick ban phase. I'm just trying to get a confirmation from the captains about how we're doing this. If you can pull that, what I've sent to you up on stream, it'd be great. We can actually, if you just say R in the chat, if you're ready, then we can just do it and watch it.
Yeah, I'll see it in a minute. I'm having some... Okay, cool. Yep.
So everybody, just in case you didn't know, there is a friendly wager going on between each mid laner. They will. Well, I'll tell you that after we get into picks and bans, because even though I know it, we don't know on the other side what it's going to be like. So here we go.
It's just business.
There's a silver band coming out for the side of BGM, and on the red side, it's going to be HVG with their first band. Should be interesting. Both of these top laners like a split push style, and you have the bands picked up. So we're gonna just look at that real quick. Sejuani, Shen, Thresh, and Nivea, and Zaya for the side of boosted Gorilla Monkeys, and then HVG, it's Fiora, Twitch, Vel'Koz, Rammus, and Blitzcrank. Both opting for pick style supports with control mages in the mid, tank junglers, and hyper carry ADCs. The only difference being the Shin in the top lane, and then a Fiora for Akayut.
Angry.
What are your thoughts on the pick bans as it stands, and which one do you feel kind of got the better of the draft?
So it seems with the Maokai and Jarvan bans, they're definitely blocking out a lot of potential engage onto the enemy team. So I expect I'm expecting a little less of a dive comp coming from right side, from red side, rather. I think.
Just wanted to let you know, I can't hear you in Discord, and I only knew you were talking because I have stream.
Yeah.
There we go. Haha.
Cool.
Yeah,
Right. Sorry, I've been
cool.
dealing with some audio issues. It was a little rush on setup today. So I do like the Maokai and Jarvan ban simultaneously. That takes out a lot of engage that we've seen throughout the rest of the league so far. I think those are two just really solid, dive nice gap closers, just to lock down high priority targets. And without those, I think it'll be interesting to see how these team fights shape out.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think it's good bands on both sides. You can tell that they've both kind of done their work. The Ashe and the Sivir for the side of Super Hoagie on HVG, some of his comfort picks. Though the Anivia getting through for Greg, something he's just been really, really good at playing lately. Piper getting Zaya, which I would have to say outside of the misfortune is probably what he's preferring to play right now. So it's interesting to see Super Hoagie on the Twitch for the hyper carry, but the Velka is also coming out as kind of like what was picked. It was picked first before the Anivia, but choosing that blind, I guess, as a hey, I don't care what you pick into this, because I'll be fine against it, sort of thing.
Yeah, both mid laners opting for some very long range, safer champions. We said earlier that the majority of this fight is going to, or the majority of this game is going to play out in the mid lane and in the jungle. However, with these safer picks, I think it's a safe bet that we might see this game play out a good amount of time, unless some other lane slips up considerably. I think we're going to have a slower game than we're used to.
Yeah, definitely. Both junglers can early gank, wouldn't you say? And then it's going to depend on like their supports to make these pick plays. So as we've come down to the end, as we're waiting, let's do some roster rundowns. On the blue side, we have boosted Gorilla Monkeys in the top lane. It's Big Deer Jimmy on the Shen. In the jungle, it is Fish Baby Bot on the Sejuani. Mid lane, your captain, my captain, we love him, we hate him. Gerg7 on the Anivia. Piper is Isis, so don't tell Trump on the Zaya and the AD carry, and Alistar Moody on Thresh for support. You can hit up Grid side if you'd like.
And it looks like we have about 2 minutes, 15 seconds left on the spectator delay before we get into this match. So let's take a closer look here at the bot lane matchup. I find particularly interesting. The Zaya Thresh sets up for a lot of heavy CC. However, bringing the Blitzcrank to the table kind of forces them to position very carefully, or else they'll face some pretty heavy damage from Twitch right now.
Yeah, definitely. Both sides are. I think the only saving grace is that Zaya has one way of getting out and has like forms of CC to stop any advance from the enemy bot lane. But while Twitch does not, also Zaya has the safety of having Thresh on her side, which is kind of like the better Blitzcrank when he was released, and kind of still feels that way. But we got to do the roster rundown on the red side too. On the red side, it is Hidden Valley Gaming. In the top lane, it is Akayut on the Fiora. The boy, formerly known as Urion, on the Speedy Rammus. Bunky Knudsen. DG Mad Hatter on the Vel'Koz in the mid lane. Not just any Hoagie, but a Super Hoagie down for your ADC in the bot lane on Twitch, and he's only allergic to milk, just milk. Blitzcrank for your support. If you had to kind of give it to someone as we're about to finish up the spectator delay, who are you giving it to this game and why?
So based on comp alone, my vote's in for BGM. I think the CC on their side of the field is just much more consistent. I feel like they frankly just have more powerful CC as well. I think Anivia's straight up stun outvalues the knock-up you get from Vel'Koz and the slows you would get from Vel'Koz. Sejuani and Shen just offer so much engage potential, whereas the primary engage on HVG's side lies on the Rammus and Blitzcrank, and that Blitzcrank would have to land the hook. Looks like our spectator delay is up, and we are about to head into our game. Looks like we're about to load in.
I'm just going to try quick finish your thought, my thought real quick. Comp alone, I actually like HVGs because they have the split push that, and then they have, I feel, the better hyper carry. But in terms of the teams on the field, I think that BGM has a slight advantage here. Though I will say the last time I felt like Frank lost in draft phase was last week when he gave away some huge power picks to War, and then he just used what we called then Juju Magic to come back and win. So never doubt the Mad Hatter in the mid lane.
Yeah, he has definitely proven time and time again that he is able to take these matchups where you would think he wouldn't be in favor, and he can just kind of turn those around quite considerably with only a couple short fights. With that said, our game has begun.
Yep, and we are in game right now. There are some heavy invade pings coming out into the Dragon Pit area for HVG, when the defensive pings are coming out for boosted Gorilla Monkeys. And if they get there soon enough, I think they'll go without being seen. Oh man, wow. Are they gonna ward? Yeah, oh, they warded. So they know they're there. He's gonna probably throw a blind hook just to see. Well, they're gonna do delayed invade. They'll do it over a ward.
Yep, we have a delayed invade. They have vision.
Minions have spawned.
And yeah.
More wards go down. It looks like they're going to back off.
Yeah, and just
looks
all
like
this really does is give HVG knowledge of where Fish Baby Bot is starting, and you can assume that the Ramus is starting on the same side. As I think we talked about our prime matchup being here in the mid lane, although I think it's also gonna be a little bit of a snoozer for a while, especially in its first couple of levels.
There goes Greg taking some poke.
Yeah. It's gonna be really interesting to see how all of these lanes turn out. I'll press the attack on the Fiora, as there was a hook that landed, I assume, onto Piper, as Super Hoagie takes a huge chunk of damage back on the return. So as this is the part where it's most likely just going to be a little bit of poke back and forth, and as I say that, Big Dick Jimmy and after you go in and DJ Mad Hatter gets stunned, what are... We have Elliot coming in, does not get the taunt down. Too far under tower to probably take that.
Yeah, and I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of action mid lane for a while, unless Greg continues just eating the poke. In which case we might see Vel'Koz put a little more pressure. We have Sejuani moving up in the top lane.
This is a little bit dangerous from Akayu. Oh wow, right there, flash away from Big Dick Jimmy.
Yep, there's the flash down. He's dead regardless.
Yeah, I believe that was minion aggro. He fought in such a huge minion wave right there. That is huge for the side of HVG. First blood out to their top lane, Akayu. This, when you have a split push top laner, you know it's a huge amount of. Oh my goodness, Greg is
blowing teleport as well. Greg is getting pressured far out of lane.
Yeah, and we're seeing CS leads across the board in both solo lanes. 20 to 14 in mid, and then 17 to 9, because he also lost a huge chunk of that big wave that he was fighting in. For all of you who want to know, when you're fighting in top lane like that, what you need to do is just ooh, little flare coming out there. Can't be slowed. Here comes Ramus to come save DG Mad Hatter, and nothing happens as the, I don't know any of my Vel'Koz abilities. Void Rift, Plasma Fission. And what's the key called? Plasma fission, void ribbon, tectonic disruption. That's the E. My lord. So it's almost 1,000 gold lead through the first blood and everything else that's happened in terms of CS leads, but getting the Fiora ahead early against this Shen, who can't just stack armor, especially with the Vel'Koz going in, it's going to be pretty big for HVG and their win conditions. Kind of takes some of the pressure off the bot lane. As flash and burn by Alistar, Super Hook goes in, stun lands on him, and Fish Baby Bot takes the kill. Piper, Legional just dodging out on the last second hit from Alistar movie. Great play, and just as I said, it Caster Curse, taking pressure off the bot lane. Here comes Fish Baby Bot to get a gank down for the bot lane.
We see Rammus going into blue side jungle.
Yeah, a little bit of counter jungling since he knows where the enemy jungler is, and Shen pushed up pretty far, trying to stay in EXP range.
Yeah, it's might see a potential gank coming up top lane here shortly.
Yeah.
Let's see if he's going up to engage for it. It looks like he's gonna go give it a shot. Yep, there's the ping.
He's far enough away, and he sees the he sees him on.
Yeah, he has the vision necessary.
Yeah. This is really, really good though. By okay, and now that Greg is back and his TP is down, I would highly suggest pushing this entire wave in.
Looks like they're gonna do just that. Blitz gone in the bot lane. Bot lane ends up pushing towards the Xayah Thresh favor. Piper taking the control and we've got Fiora moving into blue side jungle and doing a little bit of scouting.
Yeah, if you look at this, it's they got a pink ward on their blue buff right now. Very nice deep wards coming in from Elliot on the side of HVG, or Funky Nutson.
We have Greg moving down into bot lane.
Oh, and both dodging out right there. Super Hoagie stealthing up. Looks like there's just 4 men down here, and luckily the bot lane does get out scot-clean. Very good. A lot of wasted time here for the side of boosted Gorilla Monkeys. As it stands, it's still just right around a little bit of 1,000 gold. Oh no, and found just a blue buff left on 12 calculated. So what do you expect to happen within these next 3 minutes? We've been having a little bit of a lull. Everyone's kind of just farming. Then,
yeah, if I expect anything to go on, my prediction is going to be in the bot lane. I think one of these supports is going to land another key hook that's going to likely secure a kill, hopefully. I just feel like the mid lane and top lane, while the Fiora has been rather aggressive, I don't foresee a whole lot happening in top and mid anytime soon in the next couple minutes here. I think any action we see is going to be in bot lane.
yep, and almost landing that play on the Super Hoagie, who generally isn't known for keeping much of any CS lead, but is only down 13, so about a couple of waves, but it's not as bad as his solo laners that are bleeding a 22 CS lead and almost a 30 CS lead at this moment. Oh, and a stun comes out for Fish Baby Bot on a DG Mad Hatter. Flash comes out right there to dodge it. Here comes Rammus coming in to get the egg to pop, but he will not be able to take down both of these people. Gonna have to walk away. Is it gonna be a double kill for Fish Baby Bot? Yes. Fish Baby Bike gets the kill onto the Ramus right there, and a huge play coming out for the side of Boosted Gorilla Monkeys. Something we really didn't talk about that I think is definitely worth noting right now is that BG Mad Hatter's going with the barrier instead of the cleanse on a double CC duo for the Sejuani and the Anivia. They're starting up this dragon right here, full well knowing what's going on, opening up some switch in the spray and pray. Here comes the Belcon as they're jumping everybody out. You can't get out that way, Piper. Are you trying to steal it? Nope, you die, and then we get the dragon on the side there. You gotta think, if you wanted to do that, you probably had to have the Anivia stay with you. She had TP to where she could come back and then take it, but as it stands, a 1 for 2 altogether on the side of BGM, but the dragon, first dragon going over to Hidden Valley Gaming.
And Earth Dragon, I feel, is pretty significant in this matchup. Having to go up against Shin and Sejuani, along with Thresh, you're going to have to be able to try and catch up and, you know, equate to their tankiness.
Huge flash knock-up from Allergic to Milk, but it only burns the flash of Gertrude, who just had his egg pop mid lane right there, forcing him to go back. So it's going to be another full wave miss. And if I'm not mistaken, Akayu was gifted the red buff and 9 carry on the dodge right there. Although the dodge zone is going to get it right there. He's going to keep going. He takes the ult onto the big Jimmy right there. Can he get one more Q? He's going to get one more Q. Can he get one more Q? He's going to get it. Oh, he has to flash away so he doesn't take too much.
Shin definitely playing a dangerous game by fighting committing so much whenever you're 2 levels down against the Fiora. Akuati definitely just taking advantage of the situation and abusing the massive gold lead. I think Shin was playing far too aggressively there.
Yeah, I definitely would agree. Probably playing too aggressively, but after if you can parry the taunt, you win that trade every time. And I think it's a really smart decision by Elliot or whoever made the call to give the Fiora the red buff. You have the extra health regen as Allergic Milk tries to go up, knocks up Piper. Oh, and just misses on the hook right there. Could have been huge. As it looks like Akayu is just going to take the top lane tower for the first turn of the game. This Fiora is almost 3,000 gold ahead of this Shin right now. There is a hook that lands on the bot lane. And Super Hoagie just ulting for Prosperity as Piper does get hooked. And he
Piper takes the lantern out.
Lantern. DG Mad Hatter, you're walking into a bullet, buddy. You have, yeah, that's what happens when you face check.
Yeah. I'm not 100% sure what was expected to happen there. Face checking into a team with that much CC. Yeah, you could kind of see the hook coming from a mile away, even if you couldn't see the Thresh himself.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we do have it granted the benefit of full fog of war on both sides, but
yeah,
Delcause feels like maybe that IQ that you talk about so much should have been better used to maybe sending that speedy boy Ramus up there. As Akayu now has completely left the top lane to go fight Fish Baby Bike in their own jungle. Playing a dangerous game himself. Oh, and does get the stun down. Here comes the Q. One more Q though will be able to. I don't think so. Actually, here comes the Stand United. And Alistar moves coming down. Akayu just dies right there. Here comes the disintegration rate, so it takes Alistar movie, so support for top lane with so much burn on the side of BGM. 2 ults for 2 ults, I believe. The Shin ult and Sejuani ult. Really nice, like, pressure being applied by Akayu, just a little bit too far forward from their team.
I think it would have been a safe play had the Thresh not been there. Alistar Moody definitely taking advantage of the overextension there. Throw out any amount of CC he can just to buy them more time to throw that damage in and secure the kill.
Yeah, just playing also that deep into the enemy jungle, no vision on the side of HVG.
Oh god, yeah, they didn't have any vision, huh?
Yeah, no, he just was going on a man mode mission, said, hey, I was 2-0-1, I could do this. Here comes DG Mad Hatter as, oh my goodness.
There's the flash.
Yes.
Will it be enough? Looks like they're going to have to run back off.
Nope, and I think Respawn's going to secure the kill right here. Yep, DG Mad Hatter does get the kill onto Fish Baby Bot.
Vel'Koz making that flash worth it as he picks up another kill and is now steadily pulling his lead ahead of Greg in the mid lane. So we're seeing the slow and steady begin to pay off now for Vel'Koz. We're going to transition into mid-game. As he already has the Morellos. I don't know, do you think there are any interesting build paths here, or you think everyone's going fairly standard? You expect the Essence Reaver Rush on Xayah, and the crit build on Twitch, of course. Support items pretty standardized. One thing I do like seeing is the Ravenous Hydra Rush with Fiora, but again, that's like fairly standard. It doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of dynamic building going on in this match. Everything seems to be playing out pretty meta.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Merc Treads Rush is actually just as important. I wouldn't mind seeing the Titanic Hydra if you're just going to be into this double tank team for the Fiora. So the Ravenous helps out with clearing the waves and allowing yourself to roam to the team, but I just think if you committed to the split push a little bit more, and then I think the Titanic would have done a little bit more overall.
Yeah, I agree. I think Titanic Hydra would have definitely brought them back up to a little beefier state. As we said earlier, whenever they captured the Mountain Drake, they are going to need to be careful about the level it has, bringing Shin, Sejuani, and Thresh to the board.
You cut out. Can you hear me? I can't hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Have I lost my Metro Falco?
Oh boy. You might have. There we go.
Ah, there he is. Alright. So, one thing we didn't mention, or I tried to before we got into picks and bans, is that mid laners have friendly agreed upon as the Rick Health is being dropped mid lane to try to crack it open, which is fairly huge a bit against Anonivia as well. That for every one death on the side of each mid laner, they will donate $1 to the PMA LCS prize pool. So as of right now, $2 will be donated by Frank, as he is the boosted of the two mid laners right now. And Fish Baybot is being caught out right here, standing at being used on Sejuani. Here comes Fiora by their lonesome. Oh, dodges the hook, but gets hit by the Shin Taunt. Here comes Super Hoagie though. He's ready to open up. He opens up a little bit too early. Here's the disintegration rate coming up. Flash hook from the Blitzcrank. He gets the Shin, and it's a 1-for-0 right now as they look to turn for this dragon and steal the red buff on the way out on the side, and it's overall win and almost a 4,000 gold lead for the side of Hidden Valley Gaming. Yeah,
Hidden Valley Gaming was just able to maintain their grouping. They were just able to have a much tighter group and chain their CC in a way that that Shin was just, he had no chance of getting out of that. There's another hook.
Yep,
more damage.
It's unfortunate when you're this Sejuani or anyone on this team right now who's a little bit behind. They have true damage on the side of both of their solo laners, and then if you get a pick onto anyone with the Blitzcrank with either one of those people there, they're gonna be taking some massive damage. Like, I feel like there's gonna be a fight here, and does use the parry a little bit late though, as Shin does come in, and Super Hoagie is about to go down, and the Rammus is about to go down as well, and it's a 2-for-0 in the bot lane. Overstaying, not focusing the tower, maybe a little bit of miscommunication on the side of HVG about what to prioritize right there. And it may end up being their first tower of the game too, with 4 strong here in the bot lane and only Blitzcrank to defend.
It's nice to see them pick up the 2 kills, however, they are still 3 towers behind. There will be 2 after they pick up bot lane here. And I think there's just such a farm difference in some of these lanes currently. The only laner surpassing their HVG counterpart is the Xayah.
Yeah, now it's a nice teleport from Greg to try to press this mid lane that Fish Baby Bot was pushing up on, but I think if they learn from... Well, are they going to go in on this? Because here comes Alistar Moody, who's about to get maybe having the flash over the wall. Alistar Moody playing back. Akayu going on to Piper, just 1v1. Oh, Piper, you are...
BGM just getting surrounded and cut off as they get picked one by one.
And it looks like Fiora is not done. She's probably going to try to take the advantage even further onto Big Diuk Jimmy, who's got a really small pecker.
No reason not to. Almost double the farm lead and 4 kills up. I can respect the Ravenous Hydra now.
Yeah, and a 20-minute Baron is out on this team because it's a 20-minute Baron call for HVG right now with their bottom lane dead and Big Dick Jimmy knows Stand United available to use on anyone in the vicinity. And it looks like it's about to be a free 21-minute Baron for the side of HVG. They know they're doing this now. They have to try to finish this out. There's 1,000 gold left and the smite comes out and they'll take it. Yes, Twitch, very sneaky. As Super Hoagie walks away. I was just about to say, you know, you feel that maybe that BGM would have known not to overextend just like HVG did in the bot lane, but that turned into 2 kills for them and just a free Baron now, which is huge for the side of HVG because anytime the Nivea is on the other team, you're always going to have to do this. As another grab lands and a hook misses right there for Allergic to Milk. If I had to say who's been more on point, I'd have to give it to Allergic to Milk.
Agreed.
Just from, but his team has had the advantage. It's a little bit easier to move forward and try to make these picks.
Yeah, the consistency from that Blitzcrank landing his skill shots definitely has just been allowing HVG to chain their CC in a way that it can't really be combated. I don't HVG has also just been able to maintain such a heavy control of every objective on the map so far, not losing a single Drake, capturing the Baron right at 20 minutes, along with Rift Herald to get to the mid tower. Although, now that we say something, Allergic to Milk ends up taking the hook from Alistar Moody.
Yep. And then another hook lands as the CC change is just applied over and over again, as they're going to lose their entire team right here.
BGM really able to, really turning it around with that.
And after he's just in the side lane saying, guys, I had tower, you didn't have to fight. So, the hook onto Alistar Moody is acceptable, but afterwards you just probably don't want to stand in that spot where you didn't have any vision of the Thresh. Because one chain of CC, something that you talked about earlier on, is that they have a lot of CC. As Greg does go to hook, he gets down. Akayu going in, trying to burst down. Can he take on?
There goes the Shin ult.
Oh no, the egg
threw it. Yep.
Yeah. If the egg wasn't there, I think he would have gotten enough healing from the Triumph that he's probably running, and the ultimate. But if anything, you get the egg down, and the Shin Stand United is down as well. And Dragon spawning here within the next 30 seconds, and it's going to be a Infernal Drink, which is huge for the side of either side, but especially the side that has the Fiora Vel'Koz Twitch.
Fiora having about a 4.2k lead of gold on Shin alone is just giving her so much opportunity to split push and just really abuse those side towers down while BGM is having to focus all their resources on just team fights, honestly.
Yeah, and I think Piper was able to take the stealth grab away from Elliot, as DG Mad Hatter is caught up on the other side of the top side of the map of the river, where he has to blow his flash so he doesn't get caught down before this team fight happens.
Twitch stealth, are we looking to see an engage here? Some poke in from Vel'Koz?
I think this is, yep, that's exactly what I was thinking of. You get the Twitch knocked up, Piper using the ultimate, the feathers have landed. Akayu is in the backline just destroying people. He has a double kill. There is a kill on the side right there. He's going to chase down the rest of the team right there. Super Hoagie finally gets a kill on the board, and they look towards the mid lane inhibitor right here. It just speaks to how far ahead this Fiora is. And
yeah, at the beginning of that fight, it appeared that the sheer tankiness of BGM was going to put them out on top, but then that Fiora just got on the back line and there was no stopping her, and just one by one she was tearing them apart, and they were able to turn it back around into HVG's favor despite the engage being from BGM. Yeah, I thought it was a fairly good engage myself. I was I was happy with that engage, but the Fiora is just too far ahead for it to matter at this point, I believe.
Well, their team fight, like, you don't want to play either one of these teams into a corridor, as it is right now. As Allergic to Milk does dodge out on one former CC, gets stunned up by the Anivia, and here we go again. Is it going to happen? Another fight. The hook onto Fiora. Are we gonna see the smite? It goes down, but Anivia gets it? Smites? Junglers?
That's
okay.
Last person I would have expected to pick it up, but that is BGM's first real objective of the game.
Yeah.
It is nice to see that they're gonna have a little bit of a damage spike as a result. We are looking at 1 minute and 10 seconds until Baron is back up. It'll be interesting to see how aggressive HVG is towards capturing that Baron as quickly as they can, considering they went for 20 minutes previously.
Yeah, Allergic to Milk building this Frozen Fist, probably not my favorite item for a support, just because, one, it's very, very expensive, and it's a very quote-unquote selfish item. It provides more things for you than for the team. I think maybe an Aegis of some sorts would have been a little bit better here. Also, just not being caught behind the pit. There was no reason for him to be there. I felt like HVG could have burnt down that dragon fast enough, and then had maybe DG Mad Hatter just there on the side open up. But going back to that first original fight around the dragon, this Fiora is so massively ahead, 4 CS away from a Flame Horizon at this moment. So it kind of just speaks to the CS lead that both of these solo laners have had. I think it's been around a 20 to 30 CS lead in this mid lane. And the bot lane, it's kind of gotten a little bit smaller with the deaths of Piper going down to where Hoagie's continue to farm. Greg, though, still hasn't died. A lot to be said, though, because of the passive of Anivia as well, allowing him not to die, I think, 2 or 3 times at this point. Piper taking a huge chunk from the queue from DG Mad Hatter, as it looks like they're going to try to start this Baron. Twitch does take this fairly fast. Ramus can just tank this forever. And here comes Allergic to Milk, almost possibly getting caught out. But the wall kind of slows down the team for Nivea as Fish Baby Bot goes in. He steals the
BGM with the steal.
Early fight from Elliot right there.
Alistar Rudy committing to the engage.
Yeah, he kills Piper. Super Hoagie takes down one.
Is this going to be a wasted stolen Baron? Oh no, Greg gets out.
Of course, Greg
Well,
gets
Greg
out.
might... we'll see.
But yeah, if Speedy Boy Rambus can do it, is there a flash available, Miller? Oh, he gets the... Yeah.
Jukes the hook.
Alistar's
Some
gonna
dangerous
try
dangerous territory here for Allergic to Milk, committing to chasing down Greg, getting a little greedy, maybe a little bit of confidence, and oh, he lands the hook in the silence.
Yeah, but he doesn't have a Ignite.
He doesn't have enough damage to make it so. However, that doesn't stop BGM from just walking in and taking base. Let's see if Piper can hold him off.
Yeah, Elliot just trying to do what a Speedy Boy can and get the DG Mad Hatter out. Greg remaining the only member to have the Baron up, but their base is in shambles as both inhibitor turrets, both Nexus turrets go down on the side of BGM, and it's been around, I feel like, about a 2,000 to 5,000 gold lead this entire time. But I think, look, as we see the Fiora take up the red buff again, it shows you where they know their power lies. Most of the time at this point in the game, 30 minutes in the game, you have 3-item Twitch. You'd probably want to be giving him the red buff, but I feel like they should trust Akayu here on the Fiora to get the advantages that they need, so they're going to give him all that he you know, and Thornmail coming out on the side of the Shen for Big Dick Jimmy. As we are still only 9 CS away from that Flame Horizon. We'll keep our eyes on that. And the inhibitor has respawned mid, so it kind of has a reset going on here. You can obviously...
Yeah, there is a very slight buffer.
Yeah. As we can, you know, if you want to on the side of HVG, you can go and push down mid and just kind of fight over the inhibitor while Akayu splits in the side lane. You know, it's really hard if you're BGM right now to try to make plays while being this far down, although only being 4,000 gold down at this point is not as bad as it once was.
Chad is calling for an X-Peke. I don't see that happening on either team, considering the amount of CC that's just sitting around.
Yeah, also the inhibitors at Poison Girls. Don't know if you know, in League of Legends you can't attack the Nexus if an inhibitor is up.
If all 3 inhibitors are up.
Yeah, TIL for chat today. You learn. No, I think maybe what we're going to see here is them try to press for this inhibitor and then back off for the Drake. But it could also just be an overextension by boosted Gorilla Monkeys on the tail end of this. Ooh, if the Banshee's Veil does get popped for DG Matt, had a huge purchase right there for him, realizing that he's been caught out a number of times as of now. I do have to question having the Fiora here. She's not going to provide much to Siege, and if they catch her instead of anybody else and pop her, that wouldn't be good. There is an Infernal Drake that is live that someone could be doing, since we're kind of all just standing around.
I agree.
Here.
I think HVG should pull back and try and apply pressure to a different lane, maybe bot, and as well as having the Fiora fall back even further to secure that dragon. They had enough pressure on the mid lane. They could have kept BGM there long enough to just make the objective essentially free, but it looks like we're about to move into a team fight. Alistar Moody lands the hook, only to be followed by Piper tanking the hook.
And Super Hoagie has gone down. Big Dick Jimmy also has dropped, but the Fiora has also dropped as well, which is huge for the side of Hidden Valley Gaming with this dragon up and lanes pushing in their favor, only leaving 2 up. It's a 1 for 3 on the side of BGM, and you just, why are we taking these fights in the corridors is something that I feel like HVG has to be asking themselves if they're about to achieve their second Infernal Drake.
BGM definitely is playing around specific choke points in order to utilize their CC.
Flash? Greg?
Did Greg just flash?
Yeah, he flashed to try to catch out Alice movie.
Oh, and he takes the hook instead. Pops the egg.
Are we gonna see Greg's first death? We're gonna see Greg's first
That's
death.
$2 from Greg Adlet.
Is it 2 for every 1 kill?
I was under the impression it was $2 per death. It might just be one.
It might just be one, yeah. But
both supports landing hooks in that last fight definitely just added to the 1-for-1 trades. Dollar per death, chat is confirmed. Singles.
Yeah, dollar per death, and then Fiora using the TP mid lane as Jimmy is the only one there, as they're gonna just catch people in backs right now. See, most people would have been like, look at that farm top lane, he should totally answer that farm top lane, but Akayute knowing that, hey, that farm is not as much as 50 gold for killing the Nexus, as he is about to just get shredded by Piper. My goodness, focus down the objective, ladies and gentlemen. This is something you can all learn. As they get the objective and they get Elliot right here. Greg is back up, and Elliot has just died again after being spawned again. And Piper having to use his ult right there. Akayute going in, carrying the stun right there, and it looks like this actually might be game right here as the disintegration rate comes out from DG Mad Hatter. He loses in the death bet for game 1, but after 35 minutes and 30 seconds in, HVG comes away with the win.
Alright, yep, game 1 goes to HVG, and just looking at the numbers alone, it's clear to see that the Fiora hands down carried a large portion of their gold lead. However, DJ Mad Hatter just bringing in raw damage. I don't know. What changes are you expecting for game 2?
Well, just to finish up game 1, it was a really, really nice pressure from the top lane and playing around what you need to do. A little bit of misstep from HVG on the punishing their lead that they had. Greg obviously just trying to keep his team in it. With being deathless until that last second, which obviously put the nail in the coffin. Greg was like, oh, I've died. We can just leave now. Guys, don't worry. No.
Sounds like Greg.
No, that I think for the side of HVG, they can kind of shore up some of their objective calls and like committing to certain things. Allergic to Milk was kind of caught out of position. Super Hoagie's positioning in a lot of team fights as well. By the way, we did end up seeing the Flame Horizon for the top lane. We're having I'll donate $50 if Elliot plays Teemo. Okay, we'll let him know that.
Alright, looking at some of the graphs here, we see Vel'Koz breaking 40k damage, easily establishing himself as the highest DPS to champions for that entire match. Second place going to Piper, Xayah, all the way down at 25k. Just the sheer amount of damage that Vel'Koz, Mad Hatter, was able to bring to the table. I don't know how you're supposed to compete against that. HVG just did such a good job at making sure that Vel'Koz stayed alive. If he did not get caught at the start of the fight, then it was almost just an instantly secured win for HVG between how far ahead Fiora was and the raw damage that Mad Hatter was bringing to the table with Vel'Koz.
Yeah, so the MVP poll is out. Please go, it's in the chat. Please go push it and click it and click for who you think it was. I personally think that I'm going to have to just give it to the Fiora. So much split push advantage, so much damage coming out. Some of these fights that, boom, you know.
Yeah, I agree. Fiora just was able to put so much pressure on throughout every single lane that they moved through. And it was almost just a systematic takedown of their base. I feel like they communicated some split pushes very well. Although Fiora did occasionally go a little too deep, it seemed like 9 times out of 10 in that game it paid off.
Yeah. Well, are you ready?
Yeah, is there anything else we want to discuss about game one?
Nope. I think. Are you ready for game two? Are you in here yet? No.
No, I haven't received an invite back into it.
All right. Hold on.
There we go. Alright, moving into spectator.
All right. So here's the spectate link. Oh, wrong. Wrong. No. Don't click.